Hey guys, welcome to Wealth Wisdom Financial going live on a Thursday. Usually we do Fridays, but today is a Thursday. And you see Amanda and I. There's also new things that we can do within um, what are we calling? What is this? Restream, like music and things like that. So that's kind of fun. So as we're going through today, as you're joining. Today's topic is the how to prepare for upcoming or roller coaster rides, right? Um, and doing this, of course, we're going to be talking about finances and all that. But as you're joining, don't forget hit that subscribe button and like it and share your roller coaster experiences, both personally and financially, because we would love to hear them and love to hear your thoughts on the things we share today. So, Amanda, are you a fan of roller coasters?
I haven't been on a roller coaster in a long time. Here in Cincinnati, we have Kings Island, and I grew up near here. Would go maybe once a summer as a kid, but I was like 2 hours away, so not a big deal. Actually, there's been someone in my life that for the last 17, almost 18 years now has been against roller coasters, and I have so that's part of why I haven't gone on roller coasters at all in the last 18 years, at least the real ones in theme parks. I wonder who that person could be. Oh, you're muted, dude.
Uh, who is that doesn't like roller coasters? I mean, I wouldn't know anybody like that isn't a fan. But uh, yeah, who is it that you've been around that isn't a fan of roller coasters?
Are you gonna actually tell people?
That it's me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is me. I do not like them. I don't know. I get nauseous and things like that. However, I feel like we're all on different kinds of roller coasters when we're doing metaphors. I used to actually live next to a roller coaster in California. So I was really right next to a roller coaster, wooden one that would go up, 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 little thing. And I was always worried that it would fall apart because it was a wooden roller coaster. And I might have ridden it once or not. I don't remember.
Mm.
Um, so how is our finances like a roller coaster?
Well, I want to for sure talk about this at a macro level and at a micro level today, right? Macro, the entire economy, how it can be a roller
Hmm.
coaster, and micro, like individuals, their families, their finances can be a roller coaster. And there's been a lot of news this week in the financial sector. We scheduled this live a while back. We needed to find a time when Brandon and I both had time available and scheduled it. And it just so happens we scheduled it at a really good time because there's a lot going on in financial sector. So um, just yesterday, the Fed met and they were maybe going to raise interest rates, maybe lower, and they kept them steady. There's also, along with that data, has come, how is inflation doing, all those things. I also found, I'll just read a couple pieces from a news article that was published today from Reuters, and they're talking about the reaction to what the Fed did yesterday and how the S&P 500 and the Dow both are slipping as of when they publish this episode, but there's some stocks that are increasing, particularly ones that are um, in chip manufacturing or artificial intelligence, and those are kind of keeping the stock market doing okay for now, but also um, the labor market, or the labor department released the producer price index a little bit differently than the consumer price index, and that fell month to month, whereas had increased before, or they expected an increase. And then this one was the big one for me that caught my attention. The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits increased to a 10-month high last week. A 10-month high of people filing for unemployment benefits. And so on and so forth. I was listening to, let me get back to where I can see Brandon. I was listening to an episode of a podcast. I haven't even finished it yet, but it's about these zombie mortgages from 20 years ago resurfacing and people losing their homes all of a sudden from debt that's been dormant for decades. Um, there there's a lot happening, right? Even like the CEO of Microsoft is testifying before Congress today. I haven't looked at what Microsoft stock is doing, but who knows, right? Like there can be all kinds of roller coasters. And particularly for one of those Americans that's been laid off in the last month, you're on a roller coaster, right? Like you just had that big this part of the roller coaster happen, where it's going
Mhm.
down for you and for your family, and that can be a big deal for folks. So this is actually a perfect time to be talking about this.
Yeah, and I know people love to go up, right? They like the excitement of a roller coaster,
With that.
and they're probably not going to listen to this that much because oh, we're Debbie Downers, right? But here's the thing that I've thought about. I've talked to several clients and people that were going through, and then they lost jobs. Everything was going great, and then it just changes quickly, or they are now um, they were hanging out doing their thing, and then dad had a stroke, and now they're caretakers. Um, Now that we you talked about the big economy and the roller coasters we face there, but then there's roller coasters personally. We've had a few floods in our basement and in our business that were pretty uh, not around other people. It was just our business, literally, and it didn't affect the neighbor's business or any of that. But that was a roller coaster ride that I both of us had to take 7 years ago or more. Um, and so, not just thinking about personally and business, it's like all of it together. So, how do you as people love to ride roller coasters, how do we talk about that? How do we help them be in a good position? Because we all are in uncertainty in our world.
Yeah. So I was talking with a young person recently, and I came up like we had this interesting time when I asked her a question that I'd like to pose to people right now. You can share your answer in the chat, even if you're watching the replay. This is a pretty powerful question. You ready for it, Brandon? You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. Do you think that the stock market or the economy or I don't know, interest rates, whatever thing you want to, do you think fill in the blank economic thing is more or less volatile today than it was, say, 80, 100 years ago? Volatile meaning it has large swings up and down or small swings up and down, but it's going up and down more often now than it did in the past. Maybe at least 30 years, if not 40, 50, 80 years. Do you think, and you could, the stock market, the bond market,
Yeah.
interest rates on savings accounts, interest rates on loans, housing prices, and fill in the blank with whatever thing you want to put there. Do you think it's more or less volatile than it was in the past?
Yeah. Put your comments. I know a couple people are watching, so I'd love to hear. I know you're on the phone or something, but put your comments there. I'd love to hear if you think it's about the same or not uh, as 40, 50 years ago
So
before
Just
we
like
share
the
here.
just like the roller coaster goes up and then it goes down and does loop de loops and all the different things that it does. Do you think fill in the blank financial thing does that too, more or less than it did before? Has maybe a bigger up, but then a bigger down, a loop de loop, whatever it might be that you do on a roller coaster, which always makes me think of Shirley Temple. Does She has a song where she uses that loop-de-loop. I don't know.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Uh, I'm not as old as you, I guess. Um,
I just have old parents who watch Shirley Temple.
yeah, yeah. So, as people were commenting that, um, I would say absolutely yes. I think part of it is our information. Whenever we would hear maybe 50 years ago, it'd take a little longer before we hear about something happening, let's say on the other side of the world. Whereas now we hear that who's testifying right now?
The
Um,
CEO of Microsoft, I forget his
yeah.
name. I'm the
So
worst with names.
but you could find that out like right now in real time.
You can watch it,
Like
yeah, live.
you can watch it right now. Um, that's wouldn't have happened 50 years ago, right? It would be harder. It'd have to be a really big deal for everybody to be watching. So
And they'd be listening on the radio or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, so just that alone, I think information is faster.
yeah. The other thing is there's, so Brandon, you read most, I think, of the book. I don't know if you finished it, the book Flash Boys. Did you finish that book? Oh,
Um,
no,
uh,
I spoiled the end for you, so you didn't finish
yep,
it.
yep, yep.
So, one of my summer or spring reads was this book called Flash Boys, and it talks about how even trading has changed over the last 10 years or so. Um, and the th that and other things have helped me to realize that or and to, like, remember, even better, that there are totally people that make money when things are volatile. That's when they make
Hmm.
all the money, right? That's when
Yeah,
things are going up and down and doing their loop-de-loops and all of that. And because of that, I think there's some people that it's in their interest to cause ups and downs and loop de loops and all the things in
yeah,
the financial sector because they're going to make more money when that happens. And they probably have more power than the average person does to make those things happen and whatnot. What do you think about that, Brandon?
I think there's money in the whole riding the roller coaster. That's why we have roller coasters. I feel like
Hmm.
in general, maybe. Why would you have a roller coaster company? I don't know. That's just one thing. People love it.
Or
The
they think they do.
thrill, or they think they do.
Yeah.
Not me. I don't love it. I would. I mean, maybe that's why I'm on my side of the business is because I'm not a fan of those kind of things.
Well, okay, this is gonna sound really weird, but I'm not a huge fan of roller coasters because I think they're actually kind of boring. How can I say that? So when I get on a roller coaster, everything's already planned out.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm, like, sure, maybe there's a little bit of risk that some bolt would have come out and we could derail and whatever, but that's very unlikely to happen. They've all these safety checks and those things.
yeah, yeah,
But it's already planned out. I'm locked in. I know I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna come down really fast. I'm gonna go this way, that way, do my loop de loop, and then I'm gonna come right back to the station and move on with my day. That's kind of boring to me. I would rather go adventure in the woods and find a trail and not know really what's gonna happen and what I'm gonna see and stuff.
yeah,
That's where the metaphor falls apart, right? Life, money, it's way more of an adventure than just a roller coaster. Sure, there's the ups and downs. That metaphor works so far that way, but it doesn't really work in the terms of not everything's planned. There's
yeah,
unexpected, right? Those people that just got laid off and are filing for unemployment claims right now. They did not expect probably to get laid off, or if they did, they didn't expect it when it happened, or in the way that it happened, or those kind of things.
yeah.
So, what's your reaction to that, Brandon?
Well, I think there's this idea of boom bust cycles, and lately, I feel like we think we're above it all. That it's been going up, and even like watching, even doing this video, right? There's probably going to be less people because they're like, yeah, yeah, it's just scare tactics or whatever. I don't know, but but the reality is we haven't seen as many. downturns in the past 20 years as we have seen going up, right? In general, like over 10 or 20 years, it's been we have a few blips. So people are like, oh yeah, well it hasn't been like it was in 2008. It's always been going up, right?
Yeah, just
Uh,
remember 2008 was in the last 20 years. That's why I was confused there for a
yeah,
second.
couple years. We've had a couple of them, but not like as um, relative as much in the past, right? And so, but then I wonder, we maybe are having that happen. We just are used to it, right? Maybe, or
Maybe.
it's we just become accustomed, kind of like the frog in the water that is boiling. We just don't even realize that we're in those positions, and I wonder that about preparing for those downturns, whether it's health wise, losing a job, having to take care of a parent. My whatever stock was doing really great, and now it's down, right? Because they sold, or I don't know, whatever. There's a lot of factors that go into our finances, um, and we want to be able to weather those storms. That's why I like infinite banking, is because I want to be able to make money in the uh, roller coaster down, as well as be prepared on the ups or down cycles, whatever those cycles are.
Yeah. And, there are some people that love roller coasters. We don't wanna leave them out of the conversation, and it's exciting to them to be, tousled a little bit and go
Hmm.
at a certain G-force or, go high go up to a certain height and then fall right back down, like, there's a certain adventurous spirit there that likes that kind of thing. Um and for some people, like, they thrive on variety. They want things to be different in life. They don't always want things to be the same. And they, prepare for that. And they are able to take that volatility and turn it into something positive. Like life throws them lemons, they make lemonade, or they have the cash available to take advantage of the opportunity when it comes. Um,
Hmm.
so, one of the things I want to encourage folks is like, sure, the roller coaster might be coming. We don't know when, we don't know exactly how, we don't know, micro or macro, big or small, just for you or for everybody on the planet or somewhere in between. But we do know some things that could happen that have the possibility of happening, and we can do some things to get ready for it in case that happens. And like we can have a plan even if
Yeah,
there's no plan, like just like the like I was talking about, like I like things that aren't planned as much, right? Like going on an adventure, you don't know what's going to happen, things could go wrong. um I have a plan though in case like I get lost. I want to have some water. I want to have a
mhm,
phone with me. I want to be prepared. Same like if something did happen on the real roller coaster in the real amusement park, there's a plan. There's an emergency response team. People know what to do to step in if something goes wrong. Um, that's like super crucial,
yeah,
right? Like, um, and even if you love the ups and downs, you thrive on that. And probably the reason you thrive and you love it is because you have a plan.
yeah.
Right? The people who
Well,
love amusement parks, they're like, "We're gonna do this ride, and then we're gonna do this ride, and then we're gonna do this, right? We're gonna take this break for lunch, but we have to be hurried because we have to get to this other thing," right? They love it. They make that kinda effort.
yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I
I
think
kinda went on a rant there.
being a business owner is a roller coaster ride in itself, and there are seasons, and maybe you're, I don't know, a roofer, right? And the season of roofing is probably right now, but in December it's a little slow, right? And so there's ramping up, going that there's a lot of movement, and then we go down a little bit because it's the season, right? And thinking about the seasons of our life, of our business, what's interesting is I talk to countless clients that they think they're going to live forever. Mom's not going to ever live with them, or what have you. And then I talk to other clients that are like, "Oh yeah, again, this person just had a stroke, or I didn't think this was going to happen to me. that's going to happen to somebody else. And a lot of times we think we're invincible. It's not going to affect us. It's not going to matter to me. I'm smarter than them, kind of idea. And I think that reality is we do have, again, those ups and downs, those roller coasters. And we want to be able. That's why I love Profit First. That's why I love the other systems in place that we put in, so that way we can take advantage of the roller coaster ride and be okay if it goes down or changes, that we're um, okay with it.
Yeah. So, who do you think here's another powerful question. Let's say, we get into, an apocalyptic doomsday kind of scenario. Maybe it's,
Zombies.
something zombies, maybe it's something environmental, maybe it's some kind of war that spreads around the world. Who knows what it is, right? Could be anything. Who do you think's gonna be the calmest type of person? Who's gonna, like, be able to be still chill and not freaking out and able to, like, keep their sanity in the midst of that scenario? Who comes to mind?
You,
No, no.
depending on if zombies are
No,
attacking,
like,
we
just
might change.
not like a person, but a type of person. Like,
Uh,
maybe
pro-
think of what do they do for work or what kind of lifestyle do they live?
I don't know. They might have. It's all different, right? But I would say they probably have a plan or something set up, um, or they're thinkers. They think about it.
Mhm. Like, okay, so preppers, maybe is that what you're saying? Like preppers? People who have, like,
Maybe.
a storeroom full of stuff?
I mean, they're prepared for that. I don't know if I would be a prepper, in that
Yeah,
regard, but,
that's not who
um,
I'm thinking about.
um, it depends on the issue, but what do you think?
I'm thinking about, like, the, like, monk kind of person, whether it's, like, Buddhist, Zen, right, or, like, priest or whatever. They're gonna they'll probably bring the calm in the midst of the storm, right? They'll be centering, leading people in
Mhm.
meditation or in prayer and help like doing what they do, right? And bringing a lot of that to the forefront. And it's partly because they've taken that time before the roller coaster to, you know, to learn those skills, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
deep breathing, the focus, the, whatever. How do we apply that to money? Do you see where I'm going here?
Oh, yeah, yeah. They've already have their center, their piece in place, because they, may have went through life. I think about, um,
They have
those wise
grounding.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Like, I was thinking about, like, those wise sages. They have some kind of deeper thing to them, like, Gandalf in Lord of the Rings or something. I don't know. They're grounded somewhere,
Yeah.
in their foundation or something. I don't know.
Right, right. Like, you could see the yogi still, like, on their mat doing yoga, or, like, I picture when the Titanic was going down, the band played on, right? And
Yeah,
there was somebody that was, like, saying the Lord's Prayer. I forget, like, all the things, at least in the movie, right? Like,
yeah,
um, there was that kind of spirit, that kind of
yeah,
enthusiasm not enthusiasm isn't the right word, that kind of, peaceful presence, person of peace, people of peace in the situation. And when
yeah,
I think about what that looks like financially, I can't help but think of what we call still.
yeah, yeah.
And still is a method, that we wrote about. You can actually see it in Brandon's background, but I'll grab my copy here in Five Smooth Stones. Why don't you drop the link to where people can find this, Brandon? But
Yep.
on the inside cover, we call it a journey of financial centering.
And
And it's
yours is a little backwards when
oh,
I see
whatever.
it. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
um, And it's about finding that grounding, finding that center, finding that foundation that you can stand strong on no matter what kind of roller coaster is happening around you or to you. And that's ultimately like why we made this book, because we found that for ourselves and we needed to
Yeah,
share it with other people in a way that it's applicable across time and space, not just,
yeah,
for people like us.
yeah. I would say, like, I remember a story when we had the flood in the business, and then we had a flood in our basement twice, and somebody asked me, "How are you okay with this?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not really okay with this, but I've been through this before. Something like this will happen again, and I'm okay regardless." And to be able to have a good foundation to weather that literal storm was really important, and that was encouraging to me to be able to say, storms are going to come, things are going to happen. Hopefully, I don't have another flood, but it's possible. um, to be able to have that centering in place, and it took practice.
Yeah.
And that's also why we're talking about infinite banking. That is how we were able to weather those storms, both good and bad, because we've been able to use our policies to overcome a flood. We've used it to do some amazing things in business, and also um, used it to buy assets that maybe um, we're able to get it on a cheaper rate when things are a little costly right now due to inflation. So,
So
um,
this is where I got to jump in. I'm going to share my screen because it's not a live unless we do a screen share. Um,
yeah,
and I won't be able to see things. So if people are commenting, let me know. Um, this is one of the what Brandon's talking about here with infinite banking. Another term for it is bank on yourself. And I'm going to share a page from the Bank on Yourself website. Um, I'll put this in the comments after I'm done sharing. But it's talking about like the safety of banking yourself and the uncertainty in the economy and the stock market. People have asked how that concept will hold up under various economic scenarios. And there's 7 questions here. How safe is the money? Um, how does the life insurance companies protect and grow the money even in volatile times? How would a decline in the dollar affect this strategy? What if there's high inflation? What if there's deflation? Will I miss out on any stock market booms? What if I lose my job and can't pay my premiums? There's all 7 of these things. We don't need to go into all of these today, right? I don't want
yeah,
to bore you with it. We'll put this link, you can read them. But since I mentioned that highest unemployment rate in 10 months, and I keep hearing of people that are getting laid off, I thought I would go to number 7. Um, and it talks about like how there's flexibility and how much you can put in, right? You have these things called paid up additions that you can uh, raise and lower as needed. And um, all kinds of things. She doesn't even go into all the options, I think, here. Um, you want to be careful. There's also maybe I'll find this. Let me stop sharing. And I'll share this link, and then I'm going to show you another thing that I think is an awesome resource for folks to learn more about these ideas. Okay, there's the link. Brandon, while I'm looking this up, what's your feedback there?
yeah. I'm just reminded of that and a episode that we did. This was prior. It was October 2019, and was nightmare scenarios. And we talked about all these nightmare scenarios on Not Your Average Financial Podcast. And we said, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. We didn't realize that we were going to be leading into a global pandemic and all of that stuff. So some of these nightmare scenarios happened like a few months later. And to be able to see that what we've done has been able to help people weather that um, extreme drop, because it was literally, if you look at the S&P 500, you'll see that extreme drop, and people were scared. But our policies, the things that we set up, we were able to say, "No, you're okay. This is going to be really helpful," and it did help them to be able to um, overcome those obstacles.
Yeah.
But it was a drop, and people were like, "It was just a blip. It was just a little thing." Well, at the time, we didn't know,
Mhm.
and maybe it's going to happen again. I don't know. Could be longer, prolonged. It could be longer than a week or so. We don't know.
Yeah. Here's my other resource that I wanted to share. It's this episode 203 of the Not Your Average Financial Podcast. What if I can't pay the premiums? That goes through some more of that flexibility. And there's even this little infographic here of different options. And there's even more options that are listed here. There's a couple different things that you might factor in. So follow up, talk to your uh, professional, or if you don't have one of these policies, we can help you learn more about it too. Um, and then don't forget too that it's not just about weathering storms. It's not just about the down part of the roller coaster. It's also making sure that you're ready for the up part too,
Yeah,
and getting ready to take advantage of opportunities and be one of those people that can make money, maybe even um, make more money in a down economy, not always when it's
yeah.
up.
Yeah, and I think that's when you understand your numbers and you understand how this plays into the bigger picture of all of it. It does. I'm not saying you replace your S&P money or whatever you have with just this, right? You just build a good foundation. That's why we say building a right size pyramid that has a good base. So that way, when there's both downs, we can dial it back. And when there's downs, if you're in a good place, you might be able to leverage assets to dominate, actually, which is sometimes what happens in our world.
Yeah, it's not. Sometimes it's not just letting the roller coaster happen to you, but
Hmm.
being in control of the roller coaster, right? There's some
Yeah.
people that intentionally choose to quit their jobs and go into entrepreneurship full time and business ownership full time.
Who
That's a
would
roller
who would do
coaster.
that? Who would do that?
But to have the money to do that transition makes it feel a lot less scary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, that's some pretty cool stuff.
And I was just talking to somebody just the other day, or no, today. They were saying, "I am so glad I have a uh, now I have a position, a job, because I don't have to be on that entrepreneur roller coaster right now." They still do some of that, but they were literally used the same words of the roller coaster, and I'm like, yeah, I sometimes I agree, and I'm like, yeah, I'd just rather be on the other end, but then at the same time, I've built a good foundation to be able to weather the ups and downs, and and we love what we do.
Yeah.
So, as you guys are here, if you're joining us live, put in the comments. Like, let me know you're here. Love to just make it more than just Amanda and I talking live. So we could do this anytime. But why we are talking in a podcast about, but having it live means interaction. So I'd love to hear from you if any of those questions, or even if you have a question that's in left field, maybe we'll go in that direction. I don't know. But again, we want to make this, as we do more videos, and in general, we want to help you build the right foundation, right stability, but also take advantage of have the fun roller coaster ride that we're all on. So, any comments you would add there, or let them know as they're watching here?
Yeah, if you're live, even just say hi in the comments. That's awesome. If you're catching the replay and you have something you'd want us to talk about in a future live, let us know that too. Um, we've got a live coming up with our good friend, Mr. Mark Willis, later this month. And then in July, we hope to be back just the two of us again. Um, Finding a time where we can all go live together is
That's
sometimes
the
hard
challenge.
because there's so many people that wanna learn, more about what we do and adopt these safe money strategies that we love and that we've built our foundations on. So good problem to have.
Right? So with all that, I don't know if we want to keep going, but thank you guys for watching, listening. Share this. Again, roller coasters we're all on a roller coaster ride that's called life. And it's a roller coaster of life. I don't know.
Okay.
There's that.
You're gonna replace,
So,
Shakespeare, "Life's a Stage"
or roller
with
coaster.
roller
Yeah. Yeah.
coasters? Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
And then the question is, how are we um, both enjoying the ride and not just letting the ride like scare the hell out of us, um, or the heck out of us, or whatever we want to say. Um, so, with all that, let's ride the roller coaster, but let's build a good foundation at the same time.
Sounds
Any
good. So,
closing thoughts?
just a reminder, hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notified the next time we go live or when we drop our episodes regularly on Wednesdays at 9:15 AM Eastern. If you haven't gotten that, that's when they drop. Look forward we've got some, good things coming up. We look forward to sharing them with you.
See you guys.